Hey, folks, welcome to another great edition of What's Going On The Experience here on Fox Sports 1280 and iHeartMedia. And we're on some other platforms as well. You know, New Solutions, got to give them a shout out. As well as we're on a new platform called the Main Medium Network.com. You'll get some information on that. There's going to be playing a lot of music, things that Ryan and I like, some jazz, some reggae, some reggaeton. So we're gonna be getting into some R&B. What up, Rye Guy?
Little bit of country music for all those good old boys listening up here in Rochester.
Well,
Definitely
well,
not that.
considering, look, what outfit do I have on?
You do look like you could be hunting or,
Am
at
I
least
a good?
hiding from somebody in the
I
woods,
got
maybe.
my good old boy,
That's right.
my my little deer outfit on, which is kind of cool and it's kind of it's kind of cotton, very relaxing.
I didn't know that Baltimore, I know you have to take the trip down to Baltimore. I didn't know that Baltimore was so southern until I started going down there recently.
What, dude?
It's just close enough to the
It's the
north where you
Mason
kind of
Dixon
forget.
line,
The
brother.
Mason Dixon line.
Yeah,
But you don't realize it until you're there.
dude,
You know
it's the
what I
Mason
noticed?
Dixon
I
line.
noticed Southern hospitality there. You don't get that in the North.
Well, it's a cool place. Matter of fact, thanks for giving me that intro because we'll be there all next week covering the CIAA tournament, the Central Intercollegiate Athletic Tournament. We had a chance to interview Mrs. Commissioner Parker, and you might want to put that interview up before us before we bounce. Just one more time, give us some more love. You can hear that interview today. And it's all week. It's 18 teams. It's going to be beautiful. It's downtown Baltimore. They have a bevy of other stuff going on too. A college, high school kid tour where they got some kids coming in. They got about 30 or 40 other HBCUs going to be posted up. They're gonna I sent it to you, Ryan. They got what's her name, Maya, gonna be performing. Some other hip hop artists I know nothing about. They're young people. I just play spades on my phone, but they're gonna be there. So it's gonna be a week long. They're gonna be hanging out at the Reginald Lewis Museum. It's gonna be a fantastic event for young people of all ages and all youths, because there's a lot of white folks that go to HBCUs too now. As a matter of fact, Rex Ryan brother to coach at HBCU, his twin brother.
Wow.
I had a chance to interview him. I forget which one it was, but yeah, his brother coach. So no, a lot of folks go through HBCU, so don't get it twisted. It's just for black folks. No, it's for everybody. But when you get on campus with black folks, we make ourselves feel good too.
And
Sometimes
us,
we
like
all
you said, us white people, we find our way there somehow, some way. It's like
what
sometimes you see like the Bloods and the Crips, and you'll see like those white guys. Well, there's the collegiate,
virgin
intelligent white guys that make their way to Morgan State. I say Morgan State because that's where
exactly.
my bonus son goes.
I
And
know.
to be specific, 200 to 300 white students have appeared at Morgan State just this year alone.
I
Out of the
know.
1,100, that's about
dude,
2%.
I'm trying to explain to you. Don't get it twisted, And that, as a matter of fact, Sean. Speaking of Morgan State, Sean's going to be my photographer, cameraman. He's going to
The
be
great Sean
he's going to
Myrie.
be my be all and end all this week. I got my daughter coming in for a couple of days, so it's going to be a really really good event. I'm excited, and just to be a part of that and see the young people, the battle of the bands, and it is great. It is great basketball too, because those ladies can ball, and got those. Yeah, they can hoop,
They just
and it's
can't
a good
dunk,
time.
but they can hoop. They're nice.
Yeah. So, but speaking of hoops, man, dude, I'm just gonna call it out. Detroit basketball, but
How
I
do you
can't
feel?
go.
I'm sorry, Nate, but I've been thinking about it all week. After
Yes,
the ass kicking that was
yes,
delivered to your New York Knicks, I could just imagine your face as you were watching Cade Cunningham drop 43 points and 13 assists
and
for the
about
New York Knicks.
7 rebounds or some. I don't know, but you know what though?
Too many.
I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Um, Critiquing the Knicks now. If the Knicks don't get any spine, right? One, two, if they don't get out the game, and Kendrick Perkins said this too. He said Doc Rivers used to trick him, which makes sense. Doc Rivers used to give him the ball the first 3 or 4 touches and make him think and if he scored 3 times, make him think he was a be all end all. So if
Yeah.
the
Well, he
Knicks could
tricked
get
us
out,
too.
Huh?
He tricked all of us as fans. He tricked everybody to make us think he was a great coach.
But that's okay though. But that's what I'm
Everybody
trying to
said
say.
this.
But he won the chip. What I'm saying to you is that
He did.
first of all, I don't like the way Mike Brown cackles and laughs with the opposing coaches at the end of the game. I'm
Because he's
not,
played. He's essentially coached for every coach. He's played for
but
every
no,
team
but
at this
what
point.
I'm saying to you is that I'm not with that friendly. This like, okay, cool, you kick my ass. I'm going to the locker room. I have a beer with you
Yes.
later, but I'm not having a great conversation with you, hugging you right now because you just really waxed my team. And the Knicks has been waxed by the Pistons 3 times in a row. And this is the crazy part about the third time. No Isaiah Stewart, no Durham. What's that guy named Jalen Durham? Then they have him. And this thing is there. They probably would have been about 50.
Oh yeah.
Ryan, it was embarrassing to say the least. Guys come in the Garden and have a fields day.
That's what it is. It's a tradition. It's a tradition for any great NBA superstar to come into the Garden and deliver an absolute gut punch to the New York Knicks. And it's usually around this time of year. It's usually February,
Yep.
right out the All-Star gates, right out off the break, out the gates. A massive ass kicking
Somebody
managed
getting
to the Knicks.
50 on their asses. Somebody
Somebody.
gonna get 50 on the Knicks. And I said it in the chat groups I'm in. They get mad at me. I said Jalen Brunson has got to learn how to pass the ball. And I've been saying it for how long, Ryan? How long I've been
I don't know
saying it?
how he's still go. You've been saying it forever. I look, and your issue always it seems because you want to see some really beautiful basketball. You want to see some ball movement. I get you at this point, Nate. And whoever it is, whether it's Julius Randle holding on to the ball too long, but how much can one man do when it comes
You
to
can't.
Jalen Brunson? This guy physically falls apart in the playoffs when he has to actually play basketball because he has to carry the entire team the
But
entire
he
regular
doesn't have
season.
to carry the team if he passes the damn basketball.
Who
Okay.
are you going to rely on though?
Okay,
Mikal Bridges will.
hold up. Number two, Jalen Brown does something that a lot of players don't do, and that's why he's nice. He go to the cup. Forget that 3-point shooting shit. Forget that. Let's get it out the window. You cannot go 2 for 20 and think you're gonna win the game. So if you missing 4 or 5, no. I'm going down low. And
It's
when
a
you
little
go
bigger.
down low, things happen. You're gonna get it. You might even get the 3-point play, but at least you're gonna get 2. So the notion, this is why Mike Brown gets on my nerve with not playing regular basketball. Y'all can't shoot nothing today. The other day, the Knicks couldn't hit the side of a barn. Cool, not a problem. Do what the Celtics do. Take your behind down low. Cat, stop falling around. Stop crying for fouls. Because that's the ref's not gonna give it to you. Because you're a crybaby. That you could get fouled 50 times. They ain't gonna give it to you by 2 because you keep crying.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, if they're playing this soft now, they really better ramp it up after these 82 games are over. And
And you're
Carmen,
the one. This is the third of the season. And remember, I think the Knicks are now either 4th or 5th place. And don't get it twisted. Them damn Charlotte Hornets. I told you this off mic. The Charlotte Hornets don't look bummy. They can beat you in 5 games if you don't play right. If the Charlotte goes in the Garden, and the Knicks don't play up to par, they're gonna beat the Knicks.
oh yeah,
They're going to beat if the Knicks don't play up the par. They are going to, and you know I'm a Knicks fan. I'm probably the biggest Knicks fan outside of probably Spike Lee and Stephen A. But I keep it a buck. The way the Knicks are playing, they're not going to no championship. And I'll say it out of my mouth right now. The way they're playing, they ain't going nowhere but home early, okay, and go watch some baseball and hockey. That's about it for them, Ryan.
and they've got a tough schedule ahead tonight. Or I guess last night, facing the Rockets. As we record this, unfortunately, we don't have the results of that game. But I mean, a tough schedule. We got the Cavs coming up, the Bucks coming up, who are now resurging. Apparently, Giannis wants to stay and play, and
Giannis don't
somehow
know what he
teeter
wants.
his way back to the playoffs. The Spurs coming up, the Raptors coming up. Listen to this stretch that the Knicks have. Their next, I guess, 8 games. We got Rockets, Bulls, Cavaliers, Bucks, Spurs, Raptors, Thunder, Nuggets, Lakers, Clippers, who are scratching their way slowly to that 9th seed, the Jazz, who are packed with potential. And then finally, we get a breather with the Pacers. That's not till March 13th.
The
There's almost
Pacers are
an
not a
entire month.
breather because the Pacers in Detroit, those 2 Midwest teams punk the Knicks all day, every day. And the Pacers don't even
Yeah.
have Tyrese Halliburton, and they punked their behinds the last game in the Garden. So I'm saying to you, the way the schedule looks, the way the Knicks are playing, they can play themselves out the playoffs. If they don't buckle down and play defense, not Matador defense. If Mike Brown don't stop and get a good rotation together, okay, and make sure, because they just sent my boy Tyler Kolek back to Westchester. And I like the Alvarado kid, but damn, come on, man. Okay, and when they was losing the
He's
other night,
pretty rusty.
I would have put the second five in it. I would have took the whole five out and put my bench in, and let me see what they could give me, because I'm gonna need them when the Knicks act up like this. We're gonna
Can
take
I
a quick
ask you
break. Well, we're gonna take a quick break,
what?
and when we come back, right? Once you go into what you want to ask, you don't forget. We're gonna talk about some more. I want to talk about Cleveland Cavaliers and what they could be doing. I mean, could this be Harden's year? What's going on in the experience? Fox Sports 1280, powered by New Solutions. We'll be right back. Hey, folks, welcome back to What's Going On in the Experience here on Fox Sports 1280 and iHeartMedia. In our new platform, the main median network.com. You can go to that. And I want to give a shout out. This is Black History Month, and I want to remember somebody that you loved, Ryan, and we both love being on our show. And he was a pillar in the community in Rochester, and that's Mr. James Blunt. Mr. Blunt was our guy. When I say he was our guy, he started
Yeah.
the magazine called About Time Magazine. Him and his wife took it over, but like back in the early 70s, and they had tremendous articles. As a matter of fact, they had Barack Obama, Jesse Jackson, who just passed. Got to give a shout out to Jesse. Run, Jesse, run. And Trump don't want to have him laid in the damn, wherever he's supposed to lay, American people who are American. So what is Black History Month? But we American too. Okay, so you got to do that as well. And Mr. Blunt and Miss Carolyn Blunt, they were tremendous human beings. I love them so much. And they are missed here in Rochester. So shout out to the Blunts, what they did for community and stuff here in Rochester back in the day. It was tremendous.
Big shout out to Mr. Blunt.
So,
Great
because
man to
you
have on the radio. And really knew his history and just a man, what a guy.
and you remember, he was always
Great man.
talking about, we was talking about history. Mr. Blunt, we ain't talking about that right now. We're talking about this. He'll go off on a tangent, but I
How could
loved
you
him.
not when you've seen so much? I would just
Yeah.
be ranting about it, all of what I've seen.
Well,
He
Mr.
was
Blunt,
incredible.
he did it, and I miss him because he would come in my office, and I have a little Henny in here. And he would be like, Nate, and
Ooh,
because I don't drink Henny. He'd be like, Nate, you got me. I said, Mr. Blunt, that's you all day, every day. It'd be
that's
sitting on a
great.
little mantle because I don't drink like that. But Mr. Blunt, he'd come and have a little Henny for him, and his wife would go, Nate, did you see Jim today? I said, I ain't seen him, Mr. Blunt. I bet he went to the track. So he,
No, no, that's
Mr.
great.
Blunt he knew the ponies, dude.
I mean, that's your when you're like older, like when I'm 90, if I'm driving, I mean, look, you're having a good time all day. You got to
Man,
find a way,
Mr. Blunt had a
like whether
ball.
it's the Henny or whatever it is, the gummies, depends. Pick your
Mr.
poison. But big shots.
Amen. But like I said, shout out to the About Time magazine and Mr. Blunt and Miss Carolyn Blunt. But speaking of a shout out, we just was talking about some
The Knicks.
NBA before we bounced.
The Knicks. And,
Talking about the
and look, you
Knicks.
told me not to forget what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, please.
I got to ask you because you said it yourself. You're the biggest Knicks fan ever. It just seemed like last year's Knicks had a certain air of confidence about them. The fans themselves seem to be more confident in the team. Just from what you've seen this year, would you take last year's Knicks over this year's Knicks? Coach and all.
I can't. I'm not gonna do that to Mike Brown because season's not over yet. But what I would
No, no,
say
no, the
is,
coach.
no. But what I would say is, the team is playing with less furor, less veracity, and they're not playing any defense. And I don't know if that's Mike Brown to tell them to shoot threes, but at least with Thibodeau, they did play some damn defense. And I'm gonna say that I'm going to say uncategorically. But what I will say, that's on the Knicks. See, whatever falls back on the team is the team. The coach can't go out there and move your puppies like Kendrick Perkins say. The coach can't do that, sugar honey I see. You got to do that. So I don't think the Knicks, this rendition of the Knicks values defense. They think they could just win on shooting some threes. Brunson will go off, hold the ball 17 seconds, find somebody to pass it to, and they'll become a hero. That's not going to work. Because like I said, these young boys is coming. Oh, and let's not forget, and you said it, the Cleveland Cavaliers, will this be their year this year? Because James Harden is messed up as people give him, give him the business for. He isn't bad, dude, and I wouldn't mind having Harden on my damn team. I mean, he used to hold the ball a lot. Now it's gotten better. He don't hold the ball nearly as much as he used to. The ball goes around the horn. I'm like, look at James Harden playing, being a real point person. So maybe Brunson will learn that when he get a little older. I don't know, and maybe a little too late. But at this day and age, right now, Cleveland ain't no scrubs, man. They're not scrubs. The Celtics are not scrubs. The Pistons ain't scrubs. That leaves the Knicks in fourth place. Charlotte ain't scrubs. Who else in that division with the Knicks? We know
I'm
Indiana
not
ain't
sure you
going
listened.
nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, literally,
The Knicks, I mean, the
this is
Brooklyn, Indiana ain't going no place. We know that already.
no, and Washington is essentially
They're
just
not going
testing
no
out their
place.
players for next year. There's
They
a few
ain't.
teams that are out of it, but if you're the Knicks, you have to worry about the Pistons, the Celtics, the Knicks, the Raptors. Those are the real.
Raptors. I forgot about Toronto. Yes.
Toronto's a good team. Toronto's a good team, and they seem to be improving. And Scotty Barnes is emerging into a near superstar form. There's a lot of great players over in
And
Toronto.
Brandon Ingram is not bad either, dude. Brandon Ingram is pretty
Ingram
darn
is
good.
nice.
So he's nice. So I'm just saying the Knicks better not sleep on nobody. That 10-game schedule that you just rattled off is scary. It's scary
It is.
because of the way they're playing. If they were playing with any more confidence, I wouldn't be all discombobulating Jones. But they're playing with no confidence. They're playing like they just rolled over. And I ain't never seen a team like that for the Knicks just roll the hell over. Like,
I
They
mean,
were defeated. They were defeated in the third quarter.
Detroit is looking right now, and I don't want to speak too soon because we mentioned all these teams. I still think the West is better, but
Mm-hmm.
Detroit is looking like the best team in the NBA right now.
Oh yeah, people have said that.
I mean, Cade Cunningham is a legit bona fide superstar.
No,
That's
he's
what
a
I'm starting to
bona
see.
fide. No, but they have guys on their squad, dude. It's
Oh
not
yeah, I
just
mean a whole
Cade.
team,
That
and
kid,
it's a
that Reed guy off the damn bench. Where'd Paul Reed come from? Where did that guy come from? He's playing with
they've got
Philly.
veteran presence. They've got Tobias Harris out there, Karis
Yes.
LeVert. People forget how nice Karis
Yo,
LeVert is.
Caris LeVert. No, Ryan. That's one guy you always liked. You
Always,
was
yeah,
always a Caris LeVert fan.
and he's taken a step back, not like taking a step back, but his role isn't to get 17 points a game. It's to glue together that second unit, and he does
And
just
play
that.
defense.
Play
His D is
defense.
stifling.
And
Caris
Jalen
LeVert
Duran,
plays stifling defense.
Duran is that nice too. I mean, we'll see if how Jaden Ivey, if he comes to full form. He's hurt sometimes, but that Detroit team, it does lie on the shoulders of Cade Cunningham. I agree, and it's a mentality. It's a tough nosed
No, they got this.
team.
It's just the
They've
mentality. It's like Detroit basketball.
yeah,
From back in the day, when you used to watch the Pistons, they were good. Joe Dumas would bust you behind. My man Isaiah would get you. But then when they was ready to go down low, Rick Mahorn was a beast. Like, get off of me, man. Get off of me. And they were
yeah.
just like, they were, and you when you play, they wasn't scared of Boston. They wasn't scared of Philly and Dr. J. Speaking of Philly and Dr. J, I got to interject. You have got to watch the Dr. J NBA documentary on the ABA, not NBA, on the ABA. It's called Soul Power. You've got to watch the 3-part documentary on Soul Power, from how the ABA got started, where everybody was in love with that damn red, white, and blue ball, okay, to how they put Connie Hawkins down in the league, to how they had the first female GM in basketball, to Kentucky Colonels. Okay, Ryan, watch that, and then when next week or week after next, we'll have a conversation, because it was a tremendous
I
show.
definitely would like to
And
check
you
that out.
notice
That
I
is
didn't
something
just
I'd
say
love to see.
Dr. J. I mean David Thompson. Okay, Larry Keenan, Artis Gilmore. I mean Wooly Wise. I mean, these are cats like, yo, Doctor was the man. Don't get me twisted, because he came to the Nets first year of the Nets. NBA, ABA chip. But there was Louis
Wow.
Dampier. Before Steph Curry, that white boy was sick. The 3-point play was the ABA.
Yeah,
Okay?
I really got to check that out. I really do because I hear so many stories about the ABA, how it was like the Wild West,
No,
just
it wasn't the
a
Wild
more
West.
fun.
No, this what it was. It was if you compare the two basketball leagues, and I'm just gonna keep it a buck America because I ain't got no time to be BSing. NBA, white guys dribbling the ball, you're dribbling the ball, you just throw the ball to the big guy. That's Bill Russell. He jams. The ABA brothers doing their thing. Boom through the leg. Yeah.
Wow.
Boom. It was like Pistol Pete before Pistol Pete. Bing, 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 bang. And it was kind of guys who played in the Harlem Globetrotters come down low, up there, all kind of stuff that NBA didn't do. Black folks are the most creative people on the planet. I'm sorry to
That's the
say it. I
word.
know you'll get mad at me. I don't give a shit, but it's the truth. The dunk contest. Go look at the first dunk contest. Who was in the first dunk contest? It's like a who's who. It's a bevy. Yo, dude, I'm
Yeah.
telling you, we got to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk some baseball. And we're going to find out what is wrong with Tony Clark.
While we still, Nate, we still have a minute, and I just want
Okay,
to bring it full circle here, real quick. And
please.
wow, that totally just summed it up amazing about the ABA because they like to sugarcoat it first off and be like, "Oh, it's just more creative," and they invented the 3-point line. But it's right, you're right, absolutely. Just looking right over the fact that it was the great black contributors of basketball that added those components to the game and made it that much more flashy when the ABA merged with the NBA. So I'm glad that you said that and called me out as I just went and said Wild West, which was probably the whitest thing you
No,
could say.
no, because you have to
But you're
understand.
absolutely right.
Where you live downstate, take your ass to Rucker Park in the
Yeah,
summertime. That's what the ABA was. The ABA was Rucker Park
yeah.
on steroids. Like, nah, we do this at Rucker Park all day, every day. Dunk backwards on your ass if you don't watch out. I mean, used to be at Rucker Park, people are sitting up on top of the damn fences watching Dr. J, Connie Hawkins. Need I say the Iceman come up, George Gervin. Don't get me started. Don't get it twisted, mister. I would live that. We'll be right back. Don't go no place. I'm glad I'm still alive. Fox Sports 1280. And it wasn't the Wild Wild West. Hey, folks, welcome back for this edition of What's Going On Experience on Fox Sports 1280 in iHeart Media, along with New Solutions. And don't forget Black College Sports Now. We will be in Baltimore, Maryland this week for the CIAA basketball tournament. I'm excited. I can't wait. I just hope it don't snow because I got to drive. But I'll make it. I'll take my time.
Nice and slow. That'll be a
Yeah.
nice 40-hour drive from
Nah, it
Rochester.
won't be. It won't be that bad because it's only like weather permit is like 5.5. So
Okay.
if the weather's bad, it's 6.5. So it's not bad. I just take my turkey pastrami sandwiches,
That's
hit
it,
the bath,
please.
hit the hay, because I'm an old man. I got to stop to go to the bathroom, relieve myself, and then back on the road.
Yeah, you can't pull off the old bottle in the car trick once you get past a
No,
certain age.
no.
It's grotesque.
But if I have to, I'll wear it depends.
Yeah, there you go. I'll do that too.
Okay.
Saves me getting into those bathrooms on the side of the
So,
road.
so if I have to, I throw a little depends on. I know it's TMI, but some of y'all out there know what I'm talking about because y'all probably got one on right about now. Speaking of depends, man, the Yankees got to depend on our man Aaron Judd, right? And they got some new people on the crew. Talk because you're the baseball man today. Because he bolted on us, so you're the baseball guy today.
Yeah, well, look, the Yankees are bringing out, and a lot of people are upset about this, but pretty much the same team as last year. But what people
Okay,
aren't talking about is the development of so many Yankees over this past year. So I'm not one of these upset Yankee fans that is calling for the end of Brian Cashman right this second, because Lord knows I do. I do it all the time. But at this point, it's not like we can. When I saw all these players disappearing, Nate, I saw all these big name free agents getting signed,
right,
even by the Mets. At first, I was initially angry and upset, but then I looked again at the roster and I thought to myself, we really could have beaten the Blue Jays in that division series had people stayed healthy. We're getting Garrett Cole back this year. To have Cam Schlittler, Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon when he gets back, we've got a solid 3-man ultra. And you could say you don't trust Carlos Rodon, but those three guys can anchor you through the playoffs. And then,
Okay.
you got Schmidt, Clark Schmidt, obviously is there as well. And I'm sorry, but the Yankees are looking pretty solid. They brought Goldschmidt back, some veteran presence. Now, the real questions here, Nate, are what are we going to do with our young outfielders? We've got Spencer Jones, who even today nailed a home run over the right field wall,
Okay.
right out of the entire stadium. And you see that swing. It's so unique, so powerful. Jones is going to be a Yankee star. But, like I said, there's a little bit of a
Now,
log
what
issue.
position does he play? Because he got to take somebody's spot.
That's the issue here, right? Because we already have a jam-packed outfield. We got Trent
That's
Grisham
what I'm
back,
saying.
who nobody expected. But look, if you want to put Spencer Jones in, play him off the bench in more of a utility role, have him play a couple different outfield positions. Jason Dominguez. Now there's too many minutes going, right? We've got Jason Dominguez, Cody Bellinger, Trent Grisham, Aaron Judge,
That's
all
a
in the
stacked
outfield.
outfield,
It's
son.
a stacked outfield, man. But once again, as we're saying this out loud, instead of being negative, us as Yankee fans, to all you Yankee fans out there, should be positive. We've got one of the most stacked outfields in baseball, and people get hurt. People get
Well,
injured, and who knows?
that's the reason why it's so stacked. And I can look at your boy. What's your manager name?
Aaron
Boone,
Boone.
Booney Boone finally got some reinforcements because that is one thing about the Yankees. They'll get hurt. They ain't got no daggone people off the bench, and then they usually don't have a bench, and that's what gets them. They get you the first 9 and 12, but after that they get a little tenuous. They can't go deep. So maybe this rendition of the Yankees will have a deeper bench, okay, and a better bullpen. That's all I could ask for. At the
and
end of
and
the
more
day,
competition, Nate. There's more competition because if you know, one of the big problems was that players weren't really being held accountable last year. Anthony Volpe played how many games? First off, with that injured shoulder, when he shouldn't have even been out there in the first place. Should have
okay.
been resting and getting himself healing. But there was no real competition because we have so much stock invested in these prospects, and Cashman's pride has to be, I guess, put into
Got to,
question.
got
You
to.
got to put
Okay.
some of these guys up against others, and now we have some other guys, not just in the outfield, but that are going to have to compete for their roles. We've got Ben Rice, who obviously played great, but now we've got Goldschmidt behind him.
And is
So
it Ben
Austin
Rice on
Wells,
first base?
first base, but he could also play catcher. So
Play
that kind of
catcher,
holds
right?
Austin Wells more accountable. So I think that this is kind of addressing the accountability issue without having to force Aaron Boone to be the bad guy, because we obviously see he's a player's coach and he doesn't want to be the bad guy. So by putting all of these great players in what looks like
So they'll let the work do
yeah,
for them. So they'll let the
have them
work speak
working.
for itself.
I like it, man. I like this Yankees roster. Like you said, there is depth. We lost a few guys. In
Yep.
fact, to your team, we lost Devin Williams, who was supposedly going to be our next great starter. Get rid of him. I'm glad he couldn't handle the New York pressure. Have fun with him,
He's
Nate.
going.
We've
How
got
do you not
Bednar.
handle? He's going to the Mets. How do you handle the New York pressure?
It's a little bit
That's a
different
different
pressure
kind of
when you're
pressure.
playing in City Field. When you're
That's a
playing at
different kind of
Soto
pressure.
Stadium and you're walking past the Soto Suite every day. It's not the history and the allure of Yankee Stadium. I'm sorry.
Of the Stinkies, of the
Of the
Stinkies.
Stankies. They're not playing Frank Sinatra at the end of the game. That's for damn sure.
But hold on, but speaking of that, what does the rest of the AL East looks like? Is Toronto coming? I
Toronto's looking
mean,
good.
is
Toronto made
Toronto looking
some.
good? Is
Toronto's doing good.
Baltimore gonna make a run? Because Peter Alonso hit a home run the other night, so I was rooting for him. So I'm just saying, what about the rest of the AL? Because everybody knows it's the Dodgers on the other side of the coin. I mean, basically, so the Mets might give them a little run, but I don't know. But what about the rest of those guys in the AL?
They're looking pretty stacked, Nate, to be honest with you. I mean, Dylan Cease, who was with the Padres last year, kind of a
Right?
lackluster year, but sky high potential for Dylan Cease. If you've watched him pitch, you know. The man's
Mm-hmm.
just he's got the stuff that he needs. And they just signed him to a 7-year, $210 million contract.
Who signed
Locked him
him?
in. The Blue Jays. The Blue
Ooh,
Jays are looking. So the Blue Jays could very well
ooh.
give the Yanks run for the money. But not just the Blue Jays, Nate. The Baltimore Orioles had a great young team that took a step back. But they've
But if
added
they
Pete
can
Alonso.
come forward with
They've
some
added,
veterans, like I said, with Alonzo in
yes.
them, they might be hitting on something.
Absolutely. And just player development. Once again, how do you develop your young players? I remember Jackson Holiday had just a terrible start to his MLB career, but he's since trended in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
And the Orioles in general, if they had also a bounce back year because a lot of the young guys kind of took a step back, but that happens. We all know about the sophomore slump. I hate to say it, but I also believe in the Baltimore Orioles. So the Yankees do have a couple of good teams out there. The Red Sox, however, dropped the soap in letting their third baseman, Alex Bregman, walk away. I cannot believe what a PR disaster. This is
Now,
how
where did
many
Alex
stars
go
now?
to?
He went to the Cubs. So Alex Bregman is now with the Chicago Cubs.
Whoa.
But this is now, and he was their new third baseman, replacing Rafael Devers,
Oh,
who they
Devers, right.
disrespected, moved to first base, and then shipped him out to San Francisco. So if you're a Red Sox fan, although you have Garrett Crochet, who's a beast, and some great young talent, Roman Anthony is another guy that is going to be an absolute superstar. The Red Sox, to me, didn't move forward enough to get past the Orioles, the Blue Jays, or the Yankees. But then again, anyone that's an analyst or journalist has all these predictions, and who knows what really comes true, right?
Okay,
Look at
so
just the
because
NFL
you're a
this year.
baseball guy today, what about Detroit Tigers? Because they made a run last year.
Detroit
And
looks
they
good.
always are competitive to me. The Tigers always put even when they were down, they guys always tried to win.
Well, the Yankees, or I'm sorry, the Tigers took Framber Valdez from
They
the
signed
Astros.
him.
And that was a
Ooh,
big signing because, as we know, Tariq Skubal,
ooh.
I mean, the man was so disrespected, breaking a record for his arbitration that he put in. Because, look, the man deserves more money. And the Detroit Tigers were essentially refusing to get him paid. So, I mean, that to me just shows right there they're going to get rid of him. I guess for whatever reason, I guess they can't afford him. But this is why they're about to have a strike. If you're a Tigers fan, how are you not pissed off about having a guy like Tariq Skubal be the best
Mm.
pitcher in baseball 2 years in a
Baseball.
row, and your owner just essentially gives him away? Because how much value are you really going to
Now who did he
get
go? Who did he go
trading
to
that?
again?
He's still with the Tigers, but that's
So yeah,
because they essentially had him on the chopping block, and maybe they
mm.
couldn't find anything good enough.
And they couldn't find
And
a
then
taker for him.
also because he'd have to go into free agency in a year, so it's probably going to take some type of a sign and trade to really lock
Right.
him in.
To really
But
lock it,
Skubal,
yeah, because somebody don't want him for like 1 year, and then
and you
they
never
be
know. Like
renting him. The
Seattle,
Mets might do it. The Yankees might rent him. You said it, man.
there's nothing to lose if you're at least the Mets or the Yankees, because you'll find some way to make your money back. Now, if your team, a team like Seattle, you're not going to want to trade for him, but you're going to do everything to go all out and get him. He's got hometown ties to Seattle. I could see him maybe going there. But Tariq Skubal, I think, is going to, I'm going to say it, super ultra biased. I think he's going to either end up with the Yankees or the Mets, but he seems to really like New York, kind of insinuating he wanted to be here,
Mm.
putting some New York music in the background recently on an Instagram story as he posted up his trophy that he won here in New York
Mm.
City. So,
Okay.
there's a lot of speculation. Maybe he's just trying to put a little fire under the ass of the Detroit Tigers management and GM. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Though, to see a left-handed pitcher throw heat like that, it just
Dude, the lefty. Dude.
reminds me of the great Randy Johnson. Although he's a lot smaller and has a totally different delivery, it
Nah, man. He
would be
could
cool to see him
throw,
go there.
and the thing is, man, he could put a team over the top. That's what I'm saying. So, like like a team that's chasing the Dodgers or chasing the Yankees, like if you chasing them, you could get a pitcher like that. I will go and get him, man. Like for real, for real. All bets is off on that one, for real. So,
But
hey,
to
we're gonna
finish, like you were asking me real quick, Detroit Tigers is a threat to the New York Yankees. Gleyber Torres is there for another year. They've got a bunch of veterans over there that can hit the ball. It's just a solid baseball team,
they really are
but I don't think that they're going to beat the Yankees. Fortunately, I will say this: I do think it's going to be Yankees versus Toronto in the
again.
ALCS this year. I do.
I
Well, it
love
was
it.
a division series last time, but I think they're going to both get to the ALCS, and it's going to be a showdown to see who faces Shohei.
Okay. Well, maybe the Mets might have something to say about that. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to ask the question, like I said, what the hell is wrong with Tony Clark, former Major League Baseball Players Association head? I don't know.
Former Detroit Tiger, great Detroit Tiger, man.
I don't know. He was the head of something. We'll be right back. Hey, folks, welcome back to our last segment of What's Going On, The Experience, here on Fox Sports 1280 and iHeartMedia, and on all other platforms. And we've been giving shout outs for Black History Month. I want to give a shout out to radio station up the block, WDKX, which means Douglas, King, and Malcolm. Founded back in the early 70s by Mr. Andrew and Gloria Langston and a few other folks too, Miss Catherine Terrell and a few others founded the radio station. It's been on the air, I think, 50 years now, going on 50. So that's where I kind of got my start. Give a shout out to Andre and the next generation, Andrea, his daughter. Keep it moving, WDKX 104. That's what's up. So, before we left, we were talking some baseball. And speaking of baseball, we mentioned a guy named Tony Clark. Now, do me a favor, Ryan. Give people an update who Tony Clark is, and we'll say what happened to him.
So what I remember about Tony Clark was that he was a great first baseman. Speaking of the Detroit Tigers, he played for the Detroit Tigers, smashing home runs. He was kind of their home run guy. He was their power hitter back in the late 90s. Back when our co-host, Greg Vaughn, was the slugger competing against him over in the San Diego Bay. Now, unfortunately, Tony Clark has been caught up since then. He had a great job working for Major League Baseball. He was,
He
in
was head of
fact,
the union.
executive director. Yeah, the executive director of the Players Association was it since 2013? It's like a
Okay,
long time,
he's
right?
been there a while.
Yeah, he's been there for a long time. And by the way, everybody that I know knows him says he's a really great guy. And sometimes when you're a really great guy, women tend to throw themselves at you, including your sister-in-law. And after
So
an internal probe uncovered that Clark had an inappropriate personal relationship with her, who also worked for the union, mind you, she also worked for the union. That
he
violated,
gave her a job. He gave her a job.
like you mentioned, gave her more than a job, maybe a couple different types of jobs. That violated internal ethics expectations and presented a clear conflict of interest, especially given her employment status. So, unfortunately, they had been investigated since 2024.
Get out of town, Ryan.
But this was other things that he was doing wrong. So I guess he was kind of being scoped out for some
On some
alleged
financial stuff
financial
too. Yeah, yeah.
properties
Okay.
related to union licensing ventures, like one team
And
partners,
branding and stuff, right?
branding, things of that nature. So this looming federal probe essentially heightened enough internal pressure to really get the MLB to look into what's going on in that man's life.
Well, say it
And they
again.
dug
You
deep.
said it was a federal probe. It wasn't no local yokel guys. It's the feds, right?
That's right. And when the feds come knocking, that's it for you guys. We all know this. Whether it be a RICO case or taxes, you don't want the feds going after you. But this resignation comes with less than a year to go before the collective bargaining agreement. So the big question now, Nate, is what's going to happen? Is there going to be a strike? Who's going to be leading the union? Well, as of now, Nate, it's Bruce Meyer, who was unanimously named the interim executive director by union leadership. So they're keeping it on the
Now
inside.
who is Bruce Meyer though? Do
I,
we know who
to
that
be
guy is?
honest, I
Is he a
couldn't tell you, but
is he a
he's been.
baseball man? Is
I don't
he a
remember
former
Bruce.
player? Because that name doesn't sound or ring a bell to me playing baseball. So we got to find out who
I-
Bruce
I'll,
Myers is.
I'll tell you, he's a fellow Long Islander, actually, but he's not
Okay,
a former baseball player. He's a lawyer
I figured
and
that.
a big fan of your team, the New York Mets.
I
So I
figured
don't
he's a
know.
lawyer.
This is interim, so they must have put somebody in there. They put the right fit until they find the next guy who hopefully is going to spearhead the Players Association from avoiding some type of a lockout because nobody wants to see a baseball lockout, although it's looking more and more like it's going to happen, Nate.
But
More
speaking of a
signs are
baseball
pointing in the direction
lockout,
of lockout.
I remember the former Major League Baseball player. I think his name Marvin Mitchell. Look that guy up. He was a lawyer too. Look up Marvin
Marvin
Mitchell
Mitchell.
for me. Yeah, I think Marvin Mitchell was like a lawyer, and if my memory serves, he was the head of the Baseball Players Association, and he was the one that got them through the rough days and getting them those big contracts. You see his name there?
I just did a quick Google check for you. Nothing came up, but
Okay.
yeah, it seems like lawyers. They got all these players unions. You need the best lawyers close. So it seems as
Well,
though like
you have to
yours.
negotiate, man. You got to negotiate.
Exactly. And they know how to negotiate. So you find like a super fan lawyer and you bring him into the Players Association in some type of consulting role. I'm sure that all the Players Associations are doing something like this. But like I said, it's looking more and more like the lockout is going to happen, which explains why, to me, some of these teams are being so reserved and why some of these players are
Mm.
signing short-term deals. Like it really surprised me that Bo Bichette signed a 3-year deal with the Mets.
With the
But I
Mets,
think
right?
it has everything to do with this lockout because if they put a salary cap in baseball, things are going to change.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
And that's what the players don't want. The players don't want no salary cap, bruh. They don't want you
uh,
capping how much paper they can make because you
they're
ain't
trying to
capping
get
up.
it while it's here.
Yeah, but you're not trying to cap how much paper you can get from the TV and all the other markets. And you say, oh, only give me this amount. That's all we need. Nah, you trying to get as much Skrilla as you can. So why can't the players get as much Skrilla as we can? But back to the Tony Clark guy. How do you hire your sister-in-law? You're banging your sister-in-law, and that's your wife's sister. It's like that's what we call janky in the hood. It's mad janky. All right,
Well,
and then on
is it
top,
his sister's sister or is it his brother's sister?
it's an in-law. It's a sister-in-law. I think it's his wife's sister.
It's a big difference, Nate, between
Look,
banging
no,
your brother's
look up.
sister
No,
and your
look up his
wife's
wife. I
sister.
think it's his
It's
it's
both
his
horrible.
wife's sister. I believe it's
Mm.
his wife's sister, which is horrible, man. Come on, buddy.
Well, you don't think it happens all the time. Once again, we talked about this a little off the mic, and I don't want to pull the race card here because I know that's what everybody does. But I do feel that if Tony Clark was white, this scandal it wouldn't have been brought into the forefront like
Oh,
that.
it would
Because
have
you're
been in
telling me
Epstein
that there's
files.
not a ton of different.
It would have been in the Epstein files. It would have been redacted
Yeah,
in the Epstein.
exactly. Apparently, we're allowed to eat babies and take children, American children, to an island to do God knows what to them. But Tony Clark can't have fun with his sister-in-law without getting his whole life destroyed. It
Well,
really is
between
vile.
that,
Ellen
no, but I'm
DeGeneres
saying,
is allowed to eat kids, and Tony Clark is allegedly, by the way, I shouldn't say that on the on Fox Radio. Allegedly, according to the Epstein files, that's what's going on. Yet Tony Clark can't have a little fun with his wife's sister. Come on now.
well, like I said, you don't have the luxury of being an American in America. I'm sorry, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, when you got a power move like that, first of all, you're already under the microscope just for being a brother. So even if you didn't do anything, right, you're under the microscope. So at the end of the day, you got to move judiciously when it comes to the finances. You already know that. It's like, yo, player, you got to make sure who you got backup, checking up the backup, checking up your backup. So they can make sure nobody's pointing any kind of fingers at you. Whatever branding, marketing, advertising deals, you make sure everybody's on board who needs to know. Okay, so don't get yourself caught out there by thinking you can do the same things that some of these other alleged power brokers tend to do. Like I said earlier, Donald Trump, the Supreme Court, shot down the tariffs. Don't you know this Bama say, I don't give a sugar honey iced tea. I'm gonna give you more tariffs. Now if that ain't America at its worst, the Supreme Court said, yo, player, you don't have the right because Congress ain't vote on this. You see what I'm saying, right? So
Yeah.
that's the point I'm trying to make to you. So here he is. They say you can't do that to the American people. The Democrats will at least give them some of their money back. You can't lower the eggs, give them some of their cheddar back that they've been paying $9 for hamburger. Right. And then on top of that, this is my little social media right thing. I'm sorry about that. You cannot buy junk food with your EBT no more.
Yeah. Oh wait, since when does that happen?
I don't know, but it's good. So you ain't getting no more chips. You ain't getting no more donuts. You ain't getting no more none of the stuff y'all like. No more Fruit Loops. I don't know if the Fruit Loops is off. And the cereal might. The only thing you probably get is cereal, but you ain't getting no donuts, no chips, none of that stuff that they deem candy, gum.
You know
What if your
something?
breath stink? What if your
I,
breath stink? You need some gum.
I'm not opposed. I'm really, like to me, if you really want a country of healthy people, like I'm all for universal health care somehow, some
Yeah.
way. But if that's the case, I don't want our tax money going to donuts for our people that we're paying for their health care. I have no problem with them taking even more of my money in taxes to make everybody else feel good. But at least don't stuff your face with donuts. If
Well, if they
that's what
taking the donuts, they taking the orange soda. You can't be Keenan and Kel any longer. You have to buy that stuff on your own, or they're gonna be locking. They're gonna be locking the damn donuts. I hate to say it, because when I go shopping, I know this don't happen at you in the Family Dollar in Long Island, but when I go to the Family Dollar on Charlie Avenue in Rochester, they got the shampoo locked up. I'm like, can I
the
just
shampoo,
can I just get some shampoo?
it's liquid gold, man.
Okay, they got certain things in like the Dollar Tree and the Family Dollar because I'm seeing I got shop there. Stuff be locked up, play, and then when you open up the little lever, the bell rings so they can know somebody's going in
What?
there.
What kind of city is Rochester?
I'm telling you, it's soon coming to your downstate. Trust me when I
You think so? You think that they're going to in the Hamptons start locking up the shampoos? Could be.
listen, listen, Linda. People, they lock, dude, they lock up the damn detergent. I'm trying to get some Arm and Hammer, and it ain't happening. I gotta call the clerk to get the. Now, if I go to Wegmans, the big box guys, the other guys,
Yeah, Wegmans doesn't have any type of
no,
bulletproof glass over their shampoo.
no,
I would
no,
imagine.
no, no, no,
Okay,
no. So, but it's just a shame, man. Where we going here in the country, man. I know
it is.
we digress for a second, but it's just a shame to see people get. And we were talking about people getting away with stuff because that's really what it's about. And you're right. A person should have the right to do whatever, but not no weird kind of stuff. And I
Yeah,
think he could have been smart enough not to put her on the payroll. Just had her as a little twist on the side. Whatever. You live in a complex. Okay. But I can't give you no job. I'll give you a job at Target. I get your job. I get your job at someplace else, but I can't give you a spot where I work. It ain't gonna work out. And how'd that
not
work
good.
out for him, Ryan?
Not good. You got to try to have your girls get along, and they're sisters. It should be easy.
So, sister wives,
Unbelievable,
is that what we're doing?
unbelievable.
Is Tony Clark a Mormon? That's
Could
is he a
be.
Mormon?
This is like we're not judging anybody at this point, right? I mean, at this point, if people can do what they're doing, and we're letting anybody get away with anything at this point, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Here's to
So
you,
I don't
Tony
know how
Clark.
you pick and choose to
Exactly.
who to put the clink clink on when, as you would say, it's the Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
You called it this. We are living in the Wild Wild West for real. So you kind of called it. So, but you're gonna put the clink clink on the brother. Hey, we got to get out of here. But they put the clink clink on us, my man Ryan. Thank you so much for this week's show.
Of course, another great show, the dynamic duo in the books. And if you guys want to hear more and old episodes of the show, go to foxsportsradiowgo.com.
And I'll be reporting all next week, this upcoming week, from Baltimore, Maryland, the CIAA tournament. I'm trying to get some fantastic interviews for you, Ryan, so you can put up on the site for us.
Let's go. Let's do it, folks. We'll be back next week. Love you guys. And also, one more thing, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Fox Sports
Yeah.
Radio. What's going on?
Come on, man. Stop trying to play us. Don't do that to us. Don't do that to us. We've been too good to you. Until next week, if God spares our life, me and Ryan are out here. Peace. God bless. See you.